the Métis Hour times 2, brought to you by the Manitoba Métis Federation. It's Carl Thomas along with guest host this week, Sharon Peranto. And Sharon, guess who we have standing by on the private line, line 10?
It's got to be the boss.
Hello there.
Good morning, President.
Good morning, Sharon. I hope you're doing well. I can't listen to you because I'm actually in the regional meeting that you announced in the Interlake at the hall, just left Hungary, in this packed house. You'll see tons of cars when you're driving by, and it's great. But I really think these meetings, they create such an essential part of the governance of our local voices to make sure that you hear what's going on in the region, but also at the same time what's going on in the government. So a lot of interaction happening back and forth, updates on all of the different departments, and as they're moving forward and advancing our people's requests and needs. So, but going back to that, Vic Pierce, he passed on several years ago, and his son Judy Pierce was the president of the Métis of British Columbia for some time. He actually left that career and he went into oil and gas. He's retired now. But I remember that song when it came out, and it was just such a powerful message. They almost got in trouble because they're, of course, they do it as a Willie Nelson song, and Charlie, what's his name? Well, not Willie Nelson and some. Anyways, so it's such a beautiful, powerful message in that song. So
beautiful.
It means a lot to get your blood pumping. But anyways, I'm in Interlake Regional meeting right now, and of course that's Alfred Anderson's the vice president, Jack Park and Mona Beers are the executive of the council here of our government, and hearing all the local leadership speaking here is such a important aspect of our entire democracy of our government. So, but let me start off by saying happy birthday to nephew Tristan Lamrand, who's celebrating his birthday September 29. Happy birthday. And Adrian Carrier, and City Women's Secretary Board of Director of Winnipeg Region, was celebrating her birthday Saturday, October 1st. So actually, I don't know, I hope I'll be around next Saturday, but Adrian has been a long-time activist of women issues and Métis rights and fighting and always being there. So it's a very good friend of mine, Adrian, so I hope you have a good birthday. And I'll give you a big hug when I see you and say happy birthday. Also want to thank Larry, Fleck, and Frida, and they're on the front page, page 2 in the Free Press today. They're actually part of the Orange, I'll call them Brigade, and there was thousands of people that got together on Orange Shirt Day, and this picture is actually priceless because you look at Larry and Frida carrying the Every Child Matters banner, but right behind it is the MMF's new Heritage Center.
Nice.
And you can see the flag flying half-mast, the hanging flag we have flying there in honor of the Ukrainian battle that's going on for survival. And, of course, Larry is wearing his sash proudly. So thank you and kudos to Larry and Frida and the rest of all of those people that carried their orange shirt on. And I wore mine. I was in Penticton, BC, in Vancouver, and then I was on my way back on the 30th, and I had my orange shirt day on, and so I had it on the plane, I had it in the airport, and so advertising my strong support again to the message that needs to happen. And I want to take this opportunity also to praise Murray Sinclair. I listened to him, and he made the speech in Ottawa, and he did Murray's such a great speaker, and he did such a superb job of just echoing the sentiments of what it all means and what we all hope for, and the pathway that we have to get there. So it was such a powerful message. The Prime Minister, of course, was sitting there, and so was the Governor General and many dignitaries. I've seen Andrew Carrier representing me out there, and of course he's a survivor.
Nice.
And he was shown quite a number of times on CBC, and so because he of course attended with us to see the Pope in the Vatican, and had a chance to speak directly to the Pope regarding what happened to when he was a child. So again, it was great to see, and there's a powerful message. One of the things that hit me the most as I was listening and watching the speakers, and I think it resonates well with us grasping in the Indigenous culture, looking at things that affect us. What does affect? How does it affect us? Like even I went to Sheridan, and when in Cold Lake, of course, it was called before Sheridan, and that was a Métis village. And when you walk into the graveyard, it is sad to see, to be honest with you, and not disrespecting or dissing families or peoples. Yeah. But you have no headstones and no crosses, just lumps everywhere. And the road to get there is unbelievable. I raised it with the government of Manitoba, and said this is so wrong. you have a responsibility for graveyards. You have a responsibility for those roads to get there, and this cannot be acceptable. So actually, we're working with the mayor and council of Sheridan, and we're trying to hire an elder or someone to start trying to capture the names, and we can hopefully fix that graveyard. And the reason I say that, because it does impact us. You go to different graveyards. You go to Duck Bay's graveyard. It's so beautiful. Our families take good care of their loved ones there, and because they're really not gone. They're just gone to another world, and in our beliefs and our culture and the way we look at things, they're always still around us if we want them to be. All we have to do is open our hearts and our minds, and our loved ones will always be there. But those mean so much because it's part of grieving, it's part of healing. And when I was watching the Ottawa, the speakers were coming on, and I want to thank the Truth and Conciliation Board, Naomi and all the rest of them that are working. Naomi keeps me briefed on what's going on. But I definitely want to thank all of those people that work there, and the board that actually manages the TRC. When they put all of over 4,000 children's names in this big red, I'll call it like a ribbon, and they marched it through the crowd onto the stage, that really touched me. It really impacted me. Just thinking, wow, all over 4,000 children never went home.
Yeah,
They're
very
all
powerful.
laying in some unknown graves, yet some to be found, and some have been found, but they don't know where they are or who they are underneath there. So that healing, that pain is going to carry on for years to come. And I hope they put a monument up. I definitely would like to be part of that. If they put a monument, like we did for our veterans, so we did that in Batoche, and I think, of course, people in Batoche have worked hard for this, some of the Métis local leaders, and we also contributed the money was needed to finish off the monument, which named, there's thousands of soldiers written there, Métis soldiers that represented us, Métis veterans. So I think this needs to also be done to remember the names, and they linger on into the minds of not only ourselves, but all Canadians in the world. This happened to people. This really, truly happened, that they treated certain people with such disdain that caused death, caused pain, misery, and that hardship lingers on today. So again, as I said, that really touched me. I've seen that going through the crowd, and you could see the impact on many people's eyes, including the Prime Minister, and you've seen the Governor General touch her heart right away, and just with her hands, she touched her heart, and you could just see obviously the pain, the feeling of imagining all those little children never got home.
Yeah.
And so, and still yet to be found. I repeat myself in that part because that's a big one.
Yeah.
But anyways, that was, and again, all the people that marched through the streets, thank you all. You're doing the justice of seeking justice for these children and the survivors as well. And in order to do that, we need to keep that memory alive. So we have some further plans in the future, what we'll be doing, given our building in such a prime location. In the future, you'll see different things coming from our building. Right now, of course, we're just working towards construction and developing our Heritage Center. But in the future, I'm sure we'll play a big role when come September 30 comes a day. Of course, it's a federal holiday, but provinces are yet to come on board. I understand the province is going to be announcing something because they're not on board yet in our province. And I've seen Wapkanu attacking the Conservatives to say, why isn't this a holiday? But they're not the only provinces, and I think we need to mobilize ourselves to force provinces and territories to recognize this day.
I think there were a lot of businesses that closed, though, in solidarity, which was a good thing.
Excellent, because we shut down our government to show our honor and respect, and ask all of our staff to make sure when they go home, not just to take it as a day off and sit at home, but to reflect the thoughts of what, for example, the story I just gave about seeing all these children's names and that never went home.
Yeah.
So take the time to reflect and understand why so much pain still exists out there and so much misery still exists out there because of what happened. So anyways, let's move on to the different subjects. As I said, we have a lot of our ministers here at this meeting and, of course, reporting on what's going on in the region. And yesterday, I think, also we have a meeting going on. Francis texted me. I'm on my phone, so I can't even check it. They're in some kind of gathering, empowerment or something called, I don't know where. The Infinity Women just finished their meeting last weekend, so I talked to Métis yesterday. That was a big success. And so I want to, again, express my appreciation to the Infinity Women and all those that work so hard to make things happen. And I was listening to some, April's sister was riding with us today, and she was talking how she was so pleased about the meeting that she went to that was hosted by the Sydney Women, and she liked one about jobs and economy, and it was just a powerful meeting, she said, such a interactive meeting. So a good job, Anita, and good job to your board. And we call them a board because they're not the government, they're part of the government. We are a government as a federation, and the Sydney Woman is affiliate of that process. So again, taking kudos to the Sydney Woman. I know in France of them are in the Parliament section somewhere. Parliament something where, I don't know. I'll try to get that before I finish my discussion here, because there's apparently a lot of people there. And that seems to be resonating. Empower Her, it's called. So there must be something to do, again, with the Sydney Woman. There's so many things happening, Sharon, I don't even know where they're going on. There's too many things on the go. And we're so big now. Like I said, we have 1,000 employees and growing. And so it just, there's 110 women, I think it's there to, again, to look at the economy scale where women play a role is so important when it comes to jobs. Because some of the data we're sharing here is, like, for example, how much the LRCC had helped out in the concept of business. We're talking tens and tens of millions of dollars that they've invested into businesses throughout, and it's been a massive success. Blue Rail Capital Corporation. So again, it's chaired by Lee LaPlante, but you look at that growth, it's quite phenomenal. But overall, women still are big in business. They're still big in the actual interaction and the development of our government. We're a maternal nation, and will continue to always be that way. Mm-hmm. We also have an announcement coming. I just finished off my meeting with Francis and Anita, who actually share a COVID committee, and we're going. COVID is starting to change now. We're not going to need masks when you're in airports and airplanes anymore, and trains, anything with the federal control, and that's going to come to an end now. So, starting in fact October 1st, when you go into a plane or airport, you will not need to wear masks. Up to you if you want to wear one for safety purposes. Because COVID's still around. We can't just ignore that it doesn't exist. It's still there. Anita can attest to what it did to her. It really knocked her down big time. I was really worried about our Sydney Woman spokesperson because she was very sick because of COVID. And there's still those today that do get COVID and seem to come out of it okay because of all the vaccines. But it still can do a lot of damage to you physically and emotionally. So I still encourage people to be careful. Wear a mask if you feel you're in too much of a crowded location. So, but again, there's some big news coming up from the Métis government. I've been talking to Minister of Finance, as I said, Minister of Health, Francis Chartrand, and Leah Campbell. And I've been working on an initiative. You heard me speak a little bit on this show. Right now, we see the price of food still rising. We know it's hurting a lot of families, and it's especially families with children, hurting our students, hurting our elders. So we are announcing very shortly that we'll be putting supplements every month to our 55 plus elders that are in our program. I think we have up to 3,000 of them that's in the program across the province. And so we also have several thousand students both in university and college, and we're going to be supplementing some money to them a month to help offset some of their costs. And so we're also going to be there's funding going out to Child and Family Services for all the children in care there, and it goes on and on and on. So
excellent.
It's going to be, we'll probably announce very soon. I just started, it'll be in the millions that we're putting out. And, of course, I thank the federal government for their partnership with us, and that's Mark Miller. And but clearly, we're very proud that we have the control and decision-making in our government to decide what's best for our people. And so that announcement will be coming up this week sometimes. So people get prepared in October. Our plan is by the end of October, you will receive a supplement. Students, I know, we have to get the people that don't have citizens cards. They're still eligible to apply, but we still will work with them to get their citizenship card because we've got to make sure that we're putting out money like that in the millions. We've got to make sure it's going to Métis people and that there's no fraud. And next thing you know, you have a good program and it turns ugly because somebody tries to find a shortcut. So if people are students out there and you don't have your citizenship card yet, we will support and help you get it. So you make sure you get the supplement. But we know there's several thousand of our students right now that do have their citizenship card, and they will be getting the supplement every month. So it's a 6-month initiative, and ending on March 31st. And hopefully by that time, the economy of the world will shift to a proper place. because, of course, what's happening in Ukraine and Russia, don't think it doesn't affect you. It's affecting you right now. It's affecting all the world, and that's why the cost of certain foods are going up. Grain and all that comes from, a big portion comes from Ukraine that feeds the world. And so when you start looking at the whole concept of the enterprise of business, what's happening somewhere else doesn't affect us here back in our home ground. So look at the price of gas jumped up like 20 cents or something.
Yeah.
Overnight. It's unbelievable. And they blame some damn situation somewhere where the recent storms that are coming in.
I know.
And I think that's one of the reasons they're blaming why the gas must go up, because they can't get fuel moving because of the storms. And these are big hurricanes that have come through and tells you the environment's changing. And I know some people say the environment is still the same. These people live in la-la land. The environment is not the same. It is changing. It's changing rapidly. Our elders can tell you that. Our people can tell you that. Our animals can tell you that. Our birds can tell you that by just watching how they interact now with trying to survive. So it is a changing environment, changing world, and we've got to be on top of it to make sure our people are aware of it, and we've got to prepare ourselves as government in case it hits us back here in our own province. So, but again, it's a big announcement for us, the Federation. I'm very, very proud of our team, our cabinet, and all the staff. And I encourage people, be patient. Don't start getting mad at these people if they're trying to get your vouchers out we're going through a voucher system, and we're talking right now with all the Safeways, Sobeys, all these big chain stores that we can get a voucher system set up with their stores. Mm-hmm. The reason we're saying that is if we give, for example, supplement of cash, say it's $100 a month, and then we give somebody $100, they would then could be challenged as an income. So the $100 could be taxable. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to avoid them being caught in a situation that they're caught in a taxable environment where they lose it. Or social services, for example, can say, well, you got to claim that $100. You got to take it off you now.
Yeah.
So there's no gain. So what we're doing now, we're looking at a voucher system to make sure that that can happen, and students and everybody else can go to the store with that voucher, and they could walk in there, and definitely they can go and, but it's got to be them, of course, and they can go shop and get the supplements. We're hoping families, they're short Pampers, they can have enough to buy some extra Pampers, some extra milk, and students maybe some extra luncheon meats and stuff like that, because it is tougher, and they're staying home, so they're eating more at home. So this way, we're elders too, to make sure that they afford whatever they need. That extra money will be given out. So, as I said, it's in the millions and millions. I'll give you the proper number probably next Saturday. And I kind of know the number in my head right now, but I just want to make sure. First, I want to talk to our partners, and before we make the public announcement. But it's coming out. For sure, it's happening. There's not a question about it. And I'm very proud of the President that we are going to be putting this new program into place for 6 months to help our people alleviate the costs. As I said, it'll be province-wide, and also it'll be nationwide. Because now our citizens live in other provinces. There's thousands of them that have got their citizenship card. They'll be included in this process too. So it's a big hit. It's like talking right to British Columbia, into the Northwest Territories. So all those citizens, they too will be eligible for this program.
So we'll just have to stay tuned to figure out how to apply for it.
Yes, it won't be hard. And for getting the cards, to get rid of a citizenship card, that we'll work hard to make sure you get it, to get it quickly. And but again, overall, it's such a great opportunity. Now, on other matters here, before I get off the show, fishing is a big issue here. Of course, in this community, has a big fishing community still. And of course, you heard me say last Saturday, I was in Los Angeles trying to do business, trying to get the fishing empire growing here, hopefully in a place in a state. And I spoke to the minister here in the province of Manitoba, Nesbitt, and I advised him about the importance of our fishing, and that we need to support the province and work with our fishers to keep this industry alive, to keep this institution, our last traditional economy, alive. We're very worried about it. I was also pleased to announce, I know many ranchers and also live in Saint Laurent and farmers. They were hit hard by the Crown land lease that Pallister put into place. It really affected a lot of our farmers and ranchers. A lot of them were actually selling too much of their cattle just to keep the ability to keep the land. They didn't have enough hay because it was costing too much to lease further lands, and the amount they're being charged, it was unbelievable. It's off the charts, and was killing a lot of the farmers and ranchers. So the province just proposed a reduction of 50%, I think, lease rent in reductions for 2023. So that's a very positive sign for our farmers and ranchers. It'll alleviate a lot of pressure off them. So again, there's so much happening in the Federation. Don't forget the Assembly's coming up. October is not far away. I'm going to be gone hunting. I'm leaving. I canceled my meetings for. I actually was my wife said, was teasing me the other day and asked me who I was, because I was 2 weeks on a road there. I think I was going for 8 hours, and I was on the road again. So it's been a long journey right now. I'm pushing very hard, the candle on both sides, and moving a lot of our agenda items. But of course we go out hunting. We go out hunting for moose, and hopefully we'll have enough to bring back for our elders. And we'll get calls, of course, as usual. And we'll make sure that moose meat is delivered to these elders that are inquiring to eat their traditional foods as they love it. So most of this actually is not for me anymore, but it definitely is for the elders to help them keep their traditional foods in place. And I look forward to my trip in Cranberry, and I like being out there. And we're also going to be announcing very soon for all the harvesters listening with harvester cards. We are going to be issuing 26 licenses for, again, the ducks and the porcupines. And those licenses will go out, and you have to go for a draw. So get prepared that that announcement is going out in emails to all the harvester cards holders and those outside the province. If they have a harvester card, they will also be eligible to apply for a draw. And that 26 licenses is the same position we've taken. I had a good meeting with the province of Manitoba. They're issuing 60 Indigenous licenses for the prairie for ducks and porcupine. And out of the 60, we're taking 26, where our Métis people across the province, and the First Nations will have the 34. So it'll be up to them to decide how they're going to handle their affairs. We know we have a system, we have laws, we have rules, we have all the processes in place, and so our people know the system very well, and they'll enter a draw. It'll be 4 harvesters per license that can go out and hunt one moose, and so they operate as a team. So look forward to that. And I know one person got charged last time, but that's the time to turn to him, and he's feeling very comfortable and very proud about that. At the same time, we're still dealing with that. We're telling the province, you've got some old charges existing there, drop them or go to court. You cannot keep on holding these charges several years now, it'll be 3 years now, some of them, that are being held for nothing. You're charging people, but you're not taking them to court. Because we're ready to go to court, and you want to go to court. And we will beat you in court. So I'm telling the province, do the right thing. We know we're not guilty ones. You're the guilty ones by charging innocent people under their rights, and we'll continue to harvest by our laws, by the system we created, which is more conservation-minded in the province of Manitoba. So anyways, that draw is coming up for all listeners out there. Be prepared. It's coming, and you'll get an email to any harvester out there that has a harvester card. If you didn't get an email within a week, get a hold of us immediately. Because the ducks and the porcupines will be open for harvesting, and we finish July 5th. January 15th is our end of our big game hunting. And so, again, as I tell our people, there are certain rules, which you can't take a cow and a calf, for example. You can take a bull or a dry cow. But at the end of the day, you still got to protect for the next generation or next years to hunt. So anyways, take care, everybody, and I'll talk to you guys next Saturday.
All right. Thank you, President Chartrand.
Okay, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, that was MMF President David Chartrand with
always
his weekly
lots of
report.
news.
Métis Matters, yeah.
Always lots of news.
Yeah.